Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. And every Saturday morning here on the radio station, we talk about fun things going on the air. And we're coming up on year 5.
I can't believe
Our 5th anniversary show will be the first one in January. We're already talking about what we're going to do for that. And that might involve one of our guests. We will see. But
we'll see.
We got Robin Sims and Miranda Grunow with us right now, and we're going to be spending the next 29 and a half minutes talking about Dancing with the Y-Stars.
We are. It's one of the premier, I would call it like black tie events in Cadillac, and sells out every year, if you can believe that. And so, ladies, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell our listeners, if they've never gone before, can you describe that evening?
Sure. It is one of my favorite events that happens in Cadillac. I've moved all over, and I would see my friends back in Cadillac, Michigan, going to this event, and I was jealous overseas living. It is an event that you can dress up for the night, kind of as dressy as you want, or, right. You can go a little more casual. Mm-hmm. Get a group of friends together. It's a great date night. Even a great, family event to be able to see some of the people that you see around Cadillac most step out of their comfort zone and put on an amazing show.
Right? Step out of their comfort zone. How about dance out of their comfort zone?
Dance out of their comfort zone, yes.
Yeah.
But, okay, so maximum capacity at the WEX is what?
Maximum capacity is just over 700 with workers and everything, so the dancers definitely have a crowd that night.
Right. Is it the Y's largest fundraiser of the year?
It is the largest for the Y and I believe for the Cadillac area.
Mm-hmm. I remember one year we raised $90,000 and I nearly fell out of my chair. That is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
When you look at the median income per household being less than $50,000 and we raised $90,000, it just speaks to the generosity of our little town.
I think a lot of people in our town really want to see others get help in any way they can, and the Y is valued in our area, so people, when they find a value in something, they'll spend their money where they want it.
Well said.
Yep, absolutely.
I got to tell you, because every year I say, oh, those were the best dancers we ever had. It just keeps getting better and better. But, Rich, when these dancers get asked, so they get asked by the Y, they are kind of forewarned or prepared for how much work this is going to be. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about hours and hours and hours of practicing. I'm talking about costume selection, dance genre selection, music selection. There's a lot to it. Can you take us through the process of your board of directors and Kelso identifying dancers and how you prep those dancers to let them know what they're getting into?
Absolutely. So like you said, Katie, a ton goes into it. Pretty much year round, we're always putting in our notes in our phone who should be asked to dance or who might be interested. So it's kind of just a year-long process of looking at that. And then we kind of see who do we have. We try to balance it, males and females, and then pair them up. And then it goes past that and to see who they're going to match best with a choreographer that we will have. And then when we're talking to the dancers, we'll ask them, how do you feel about being nominated to dance? It is a time commitment. That varies. Some people practice 2 to 3 times a week. Some people start out 1 time a week. So the amount of work that goes in really varies on the couple, their choreographer, and the dance that they're doing. But then not only that, but the week of, it's a lot of mental preparation too. You're standing in front of a lot of people. That's not everyone's comfort zone. Right. So, preparing them for that and kind of what the timeline is going to look like and kind of given that right now we're in that, all right, you guys, start polishing up, but you're okay. You're good. You've got most of your dance down and kind of walking them through that whole process as well.
Okay. What would you say about how these dancers should prep, Robin?
I think first just saying yes, because that's the biggest obstacle for most of them. I think then just making sure that they're having fun. I think a lot of them forget at first it is about fun. Mm-hmm. The time commitment is a big deal, but they're able to find ways to work with their partners and their choreographers to get that figured out. And also I'm noticing, and we actually danced the same year, Miranda and I did, so you meet a lot of new people that way and you find out that they will help you along the way. So you get a lot of that night, I feel like, excitement from the other dancers, like congratulating you to do well.
The energy is electric that evening. I'm always just so amazed at people that I never knew could dance, and maybe they didn't before, but they put so much work into it that now they're a good dancer. And a couple of things that I've learned from dancers is every single one of them makes a friend, if not more than one friend through the process, a new friend. And everybody grows as an individual because, we're all aging here. And it's like, didn't see myself doing that ever, let alone learning something new. I mean, we had Lucy Tomasi dance, and I think Lucy was in her 70s when she got up there. She did amazing,
Those are my favorite ones.
Me too. Me too. It's so funny story because you guys know Pat Coggin. We've had him on the show, the beloved Pat. We had him on the show several times. And he was so sure that he was going to win. And I can say this because he was a close friend. I thought, there is no way. There's no way this man is going to win. Well, as MC, I interview the dancers afterwards, and because he was such a close friend, I kind of pranked him. So he was huffing and puffing and completely and totally winded. Alicia Elmore was his choreographer and his partner, and of course she's, a nationally ranked distance runner in tip-top shape. And so I on purpose shoved the microphone right in his face. And he looked at me like, are you kidding me? Can't you just give me a minute? I said, no, Pat, we want to hear. But the look that came out of his eyes, but no, I don't do that. That was just to a close friend to tease him a little bit. But we interview him afterwards, and it's so fun to hear about their journey, what they learned about themselves, what their family had to say, their kids, like, wow, mom or dad can really dance, and mom and dad can commit to something and deliver. And I think, as parents, it's great to show your kids you can do this.
So for me, actually, the year I danced was when my third daughter actually graduated high school, and that was one of my things. I needed something the year they were leaving. So for Dancing with the Y, it was actually that bridge for me to get into empty nesting. So
yeah, your adjustment.
Yes, a big adjustment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how competitive does it get? Because you both danced before, and now you're involved in a different way. How competitive is it between couples?
I think it's two phases of competitiveness. At first, we have the selling of the tickets, trying to see who's going to win People's Choice, and then the choreography with the judges picking that. So with the two trophies that night. So I see not much of the competition between the people until this night of.
Yeah, I think the night of, it definitely gets more competitive with the dancers because they realize, oh, wow, after rehearsal, they did really good. Like, it's not just me that really worked my butt off.
Right.
And I think it's also fun. It varies between the dancers, I'd say, kind of dependent on your competition level. I like to win. I'm kind of competitive.
Look at the look on her face. As if she more than likes to win.
However, in dancing, I am not a dancer. I was not a dancer, and that was totally out of my comfort zone. I remember Adam and Jen was our choreographer, and them saying, okay, take it from 3. And they'd start counting. I'm like, I don't know what you're counting. We have to start over. So I knew that kind of had to step back a little, and it was more fun for me. The choreographers, I think a lot of competition rides in between them because some of them have done it for multiple years, and they want more wins there.
Well, it's fun to talk to the choreographers because they've got real ownership in their people, and they're feisty about it. My couple is the best, and we put in the work.
So there's a lot involved, it sounds like, and so much sweat, literally sweat equity in this. But I want to talk about, because you just mentioned this, so none of the competitors actually know what the routines are until you get to rehearsal. Is that correct?
Dress rehearsal is the night before.
Okay.
And
so they've worked weeks, months, maybe even on this, and since June. So they've got 3 to 4 months in on this.
And they don't really know what the others are doing either.
Gotcha.
But believe me, they're sneaking and trying to find out what each other's doing.
Oh,
do they?
Yes. Choreographers, dancers.
Well, and dress rehearsal for me really works out the kinks. It's an opportunity for people to be up on that up high stage to realize you're this much above the ground. Be careful, know your edges, because most of them have not been practicing on a stage. So they can come in costume, they're going to hear their music, and they're going to see this space. And that's so important to be able to rehearse in the space.
I actually had an experience. I could not do any of my lifts that night or my flips at rehearsal, and I was getting down, and Lindsay came up to me and she told me, bad dress rehearsal, good show night. And that really did lift my spirits again, because that is the first night you're doing everything.
Right.
And putting it like in your head. So.
Right. And you said an important thing, in your head. It's important to have, to have the pros involved. Somebody like a Lindsay Rumer, somebody like a Sally Gagan, who can help you get out of your head. And what I try to tell the dancers is, everybody in the audience is there to be entertained. They want you to be at your best, because they want to see the best, because they bought the ticket and they're there for a night of fun. And so if you can just remember, there's that saying in public speaking, imagine your audience doesn't have any clothes on. I always say, imagine that your audience wants to be entertained, and that's on you.
And I always tell dancers now, they won't know when you messed up. I messed up huge in mine in a section, and it got fixed. Nobody noticed, but I knew. Only my partner and my choreographer knew. So they don't know anything. They're just there, like you said, to have fun.
And just keep smiling, right?
Yes, keep smiling.
So, Rich, one of my favorite bounce back, rebound, pull it together, the show must go on moments. Alicia Elmore was dancing with Tracy Winkle, and it was To Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. And so the song started with, she's in Daisy Dukes and a gingham top, kind of Marianne looking, and she's got a piece of hay in her mouth, and she's sitting on Tracy's back, and he's doing push-ups. He's doing push-ups. So it's like, what I said, this kind of thing, push up, and she's sitting that, and then it couldn't have been easy. And the music flubs. The tape stops, and we have to start over. So now Tracy's got to do the push-ups again. They won. They won. Yeah, so that's one of my favorites. The second favorite, and again, she was a U of M gymnast, so she recovered very quickly, and it was Beth Gottschall's flapper fringe on her flapper dress got caught in her partner's zipper. Oh. And so they're trying to dance, but they're stuck to, the dress is stuck to his pants, and we're like, we were either going to stop the music and get a scissors, and anyway, they worked it all out. But they did a great job, because they were like, well, that happened. Things happen, and you got to move on. Show must go on.
I think that's one of the biggest things that every dancer's afraid of, is their costume's going to mess up, because it usually one couple that has it happen. It's not usually big, but it's one of those things that you wish would not.
Right, the wardrobe malfunction.
Big time.
Yeah.
So we are. You said June, and we only have like a few weeks left, right? Correct. Yeah. When's the date?
October 12th.
Okay. So we're coming into the home stretch here.
Yes. Dancers are starting to realize that, because the final touches. Sally Gagan, they're all trying to get a hold of her now for her expertise, and just putting the fact that they need to know the dance now and start acting. Acting's a big part.
How did you react to the final 4 weeks before it was showtime, Robin?
I danced more.
Okay.
Yes, that's the weeks you put in probably the most hours.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you're like, this is serious, and nobody wants to make a fool of themselves that night, and it's for a good cause, so you really want to do well that night.
How about you, Miranda?
Especially coming off of July, because I will say we slacked in July and enjoyed summer a little too much, probably. But coming off of that, definitely getting there and just polishing it up more. And also just like any last minute ticket pushes, it is a competition, and it is for a good cause too. So trying to push any tickets that we had left over and get those sold were happening, I'd say, now.
Mm-hmm. I can't stress the importance of being coached by somebody like a Sally, who's saying, she's directed me many times, is too much is not enough. Too much is not enough. And so when I look at people, even girls that are going to be in pageants that have asked for coaching and things like that, I'll say, we're either a Pooh or we're an Eeyore or we're a Tigger. And so we know we might have a Pooh dancer, but we got to get them fired up to Tigger level. Mm-hmm. And so they could really be out of their comfort zone in terms of their facial, features and the things that they're doing with their face. Let's say it's a romantic dance. I mean, do they have that inviting, sexy look, whatever it's going to be? Or if it's dramatic, is the body language there? And you might think you're really acting and you're really getting into it, but it takes somebody else to agree about that and to say it's still not enough.
Correct.
If you're a reserved person, right? You might think that you're in full Tigger mode, but you're still a poo and you need help getting that little push.
And also you have the people like and I'm not sure if it was you, you'd have somebody look at you and you think you're not doing well and they're like, oh, you're actually doing it. So you get the encouragement of, oh, I'm actually doing it and I didn't think I was.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
I smile a lot, and I thought that I was smiling a ton until Sally told me to smile more. And then Pat said, have fun. And I was like, okay. And she's like, more smile. Mm-hmm. She will always tell you to have more.
Right.
But it works.
It does. And people can tell if you're having fun or not. You know, I had a friend, I'm not going to mention names because I would never be unkind about this, but I had a male friend whose partner, he was in it, and he didn't want to practice the lifts. And he said, Katie, I feel like we're dealing with a wet fish out there. I try to handle this, and we just haven't put in enough practice. And I said, oh, no one will notice. Just get through it. Well, he knew it. He was right. And when I saw it, I thought, I get it. A few more hours, we could have snapped that up. So you really have to have mutual respect for your dance partner and be like, how good do we want to be? And are we willing to put in the effort and the time?
And that's, for us, the hardest part at the beginning is making sure that we find that compatibility with dancers and choreographers, because that will be the make it or break it for each team.
Right. For listeners that have never been to the event, one of my favorite parts of it is there's a candid interview, off-script interview with the dancers. So they bring in the camera crew and they interview them in their at rehearsal. And that's where you really find out if they're having fun or not. They kind of giggle and they laugh about different things that, dropping someone, let's say, or this person's perpetually late and laughing about that, or costume selection. I know Jenny Johnson said she ordered like 40 costumes before, and then her partner decided black leather was going to be the look, and she was like, I guess that's the look. I love those stories about how did you guys get here? And it's fun to hear how much the male partner really does influence things.
They influence more than most people think. So
that's right.
They actually end up, you would think the males would not have as much fun, but a lot of times I feel like they're the ones having the most fun out of everybody.
Mm-hmm. I giggled because Rebecca Kranitz has 5 kids. Chris and Rebecca do, and so I was interviewing her after her dance, and she had quite the costume on, let me tell you. 10 out of 10. And I'm like, Rebecca, what did the kids say about the costume? She goes, my kids haven't seen me in this costume. I said, they're gonna now. You're gonna be all over social media. And she was, so it's fun to see kids look at their parents and go, wow, the wow factor. And then the little kids that like to get up and dance on the stage when we're at intermission. That's so sweet.
So cute.
How was the wow factor for you, Robin?
When I was doing it that night?
With your kids.
Oh, with them, they were all in their late 19 to 23. They did not think mom could do anything like that. So, and my husband actually too, he told me that he's never looked at me like he has when I've given birth to kids. So that was cool after that many years. So.
Wow.
So yeah.
Reignited the spark.
Yes. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Because I never pushed so hard on something before to pass my limits. So.
Mm-hmm. What did you learn about yourself in that process?
That I like our community. That was probably the biggest thing I found out for myself. But that I can still do stuff, and no matter what age, you need to keep trying new things.
Oh yeah. How about you, Robin? What did you learn about yourself? Miranda. What did you learn?
Definitely out of my comfort zone. I'm normally pretty comfortable with talking or doing whatever with people, but elevate me apparently 4 feet, and I am not. But I did learn, even though I don't have much of a beat, I can't clap in church to a beat, that I could become a dancer and do a dance, and it was pretty cool. And after that, even I feel like I'm more apt to be out and dance, even if I'm not in rhythm. And the wow factor, I mean, I got engaged there, so,
Really?
Right on stage.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a wow factor, isn't it, Rich?
Yep. Only
that might have
one.
stolen a few votes, too.
You win.
Were you aware that was going to happen, Miranda, that night?
I was not.
All
no.
right, so you were already outside of your comfort zone.
A bunch of us in the back knew, but she did not.
I had no idea. In fact, I swore that next song after our dance was done, all I wanted to do was come get interviewed, bow, and get off of the stage.
That's a lot going on.
Not my comfort zone. Where Adam said he was so much happier dancing the second time because the only thing he was nervous about was proposing. So.
Oh, that is so special.
She looked confused that night because she's like, why is there a second song starting?
Incredible. Let's talk about the fundraiser itself. What is your goal? How much money do you want to raise this year?
I think our goal was about $60,000 after everything's paid for.
You're going to net 60.
Yep.
Okay. What can people in the community do right now to support you guys, to support the Y, to support the event?
So I would say direct people to dancers to get tickets sold. And then there's also, you can vote for the dancers. So they'll all share through their pages on Facebook. They're on our website on the Y. You can go on and actually pay, I believe it's $5 a vote, and start voting for your favorite dancers right now. So that's a great way to just start putting some in there and getting some votes in.
A lot of people aren't able to attend for different reasons, or they have family that can't come because they're out of state. So those are the people that also help our out-of-state families. So that's nice that it goes past Cadillac.
Right. One thing that's super cool is the 2 awards. So they're real mirror balls that get handed out to our winners. And what I like is if someone's interested in truly the art of dance, the mastery of it, whatever, Lindsay Rumer is the lead judge. So we've got Carl Kilbasa, Sally Goggin, and Lindsay as judges. And they huddle up and they decide the judge's choice. And then the people's choice, of course, is who's going to throw the most amount of money at these different couples. And it's funny watching the accountants in the back of the room. I mean, they've got a lot of work. They've got their work cut out for them because someone at the 11th hour could write a large check, and that can change everything.
Yes.
And so, I have had friends that were a little disgruntled that thought, they were close to winning the People's Choice, or maybe their company wrote a large check and then someone eked them out a little bit. But it's important to have the mindset. This is a fundraiser for a really an important community organization, a cornerstone of Cadillac. And so if we can just stay focused and like you guys say, keep it fun.
A lot of fun. And I know my daughter's team last year won the People's Choice. She was the choreographer, and she was out in the audience calling people, saying get online, still vote, because it's open. You can vote during the first round still.
Oh,
it's
awesome.
Online. So there's other ways. If you can't come that night, you can still vote during the night.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I had a friend, he's retired now, but he's longtime president of FEM Technology here in town, Tommy Uri. And every year he would say to me, okay, let's talk about the dancers. It's kind of our one shot at like having celebrities around with these dancers, it's Kardashian-esque. And he's like, I don't think I know any of the dancers. And I'd be like, Tom, get on the website and you can look up who these dancers are this year. So I think that there's momentum in the community. It was, of course, Pat's baby, and we had people from other communities coming to Little Cadillac to see this get executed, and they were impressed. They were impressed by the pageantry of it and how polished it was. And so to be involved, you got to set the bar high and really bring your A game that night.
And I think there's something special about it, too, because we were just talking with some people the other night about how this event keeps going. Mm-hmm. And Pat did something right with this event, and people still cherish it. So
right.
I think it's something, I don't know when it will end, and that's a nice thing.
It is.
We are a small town, so you'd think that you'd run out of people to ask eventually, but so far, no.
And
right?
I think it's good because our committee really tries to target like a younger crowd. So there's always people aging, so we always have new people for each area that we're looking for.
Yeah, I think after I danced, and then I've been involved like 3 years now. And each year when we go to do the videos, I'm like, oh, this is a fun group. This is a good group. But it just is every year. It's just, we have some amazing people in our community, and it's so fun to see what they come up with, all 3 of them together. It's fantastic.
And at our first meeting, we usually have like everybody giving the names. We're like, okay, we have 100 some people that we want to ask. Who are we actually asking? So
right.
We always have a huge list to start with.
I think the unintended consequence of being involved in something like this is you're mentally sharper, but physically you get yourself into shape on something like this because you're adding activity to your life that we didn't have there before, and I've seen people really make great health strides from being involved in this.
Yes.
which I think is a good thing because it's with the Y also.
Right.
And that's one of their main aspects that they're trying to promote. So I think along with that, it shows people. So my husband's a chiropractor here in town. He's actually dancing this year.
Oh,
and
great.
that is one of the things he actually is trying to show his patients is that he's still able to, with work, with everything he's doing, go out and still exercise. He gets up at 4:30 to exercise, and then he's doing this. So don't stop moving.
Oh, it's so true.
It is.
Yeah. It was funny because when Mike took over, when Dan Smith left the community and Mike became the executive director of the Y, he hadn't been to a Dancing with the Y Stars yet. And I think after his first one, he's like, never going to miss this again. I mean, it's a really fun time.
Now we're always waiting to see what bow tie he has.
Yes.
Oh, is that
Yes.
he's gonna bring something fabulous, huh?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. If money was no object, what as board members and also being involved with this, and had this powerhouse committee, where would you take the event? What else would you do if money was no object?
I would like to see, and I'm sure everybody would, an all-star team. And I think that would be a fun event for everybody. And it's always talked about, it's just when is the right time for that? Because I think...
Is that all the winners now?
Not necessarily all the winners, because a lot of people have moved from our
Okay.
area. But just anybody who's done it in the past who might be wanting to try it again.
Sure. Because we've never had the same person. No.
There's been, Randy Hill did it last year for his second time. And
Okay.
then I think there was a couple others
There's
in the
been a
past.
couple,
They
yeah.
usually wait. Laura Dahlquist did it.
Yep, she did like the first one, and
Yeah, and then
yeah,
a couple
another
years
one.
ago. So yeah, it just depends on how long they've been out of it and what like group we're looking for.
I smile about the costumes because we all ladies, we love to dress up. You know what I mean?
So do the guys.
Yes.
They do,
Yes.
I'm telling you, it is so fun to see what people do with their costumes because there's that little girl in us, that wants to be this or wants to be that. And that night you really get to be that.
You really do. I think picking out the costumes was probably one of my favorite parts because that's really how you portray your character that night in the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the night it all comes together is with that costume.
And have you found that characters are ones that tend to get the most votes, the ones, the dance, the routines that require the most acting?
I would say yes, because even the ones who you think are not going to be very good at dancing, sometimes their acting actually makes the dancing even better.
Okay.
What would you say about that, Miranda?
I think definitely the interaction of how they interact with the crowd, or back to the facial, what they're looking at. Are they really looking like they're having fun? Are they, pointing back to somebody? Or really, we have like the round stage, I think that's what it's called, so have they hit all the corners? Are they really working the room and all of that? So even if it's not a very, I'd say like intricate dance, they can definitely win votes with that.
Right. I'm fascinated, and I always hold on to her every word with what Lindsay has to say, with what Lindsay's feedback is, because she will get very specific about arm extensions or footwork or, so she's not the type of person you do a lot of lifts and flips and have a great costume. She's not buying that. She
That
really
would be
wants
Sally.
to. And same with Sally, yeah. They're going to get down to the actual dance and the execution of it. And so it's kind of nice because we've got it all. We've got people who run around and they know where their crowd is, and the crowd just goes so wild, it's deafening, But then we've got those judges sitting back and going, okay, but let's see the dance.
Yeah. And I think for the choreographers, they're waiting to hear Lindsay's remarks, because for them, that is why they're doing it too, because they like to see that they can actually make a good dance, especially with somebody who can't dance.
Exactly. And that I'm so tickled to hear that your dancers this year are gonna, make some time, to be with Sally, because she can take you from zero to hero.
Agreed.
She can.
Absolutely.
She can make all the difference if you listen to what she has to say.
Yes.
Time, place, tickets, votes. Let's do that in the last minute or so that we have. So take us to where people need to go to find out who's dancing and how they can contribute.
They can go to the YMCA website, and you will see everybody that's dancing there. You can do votes on there for your dancers, choreographers. Tickets, get with one of the dancers ASAP, because they are very, very limited with how many are left. Get with them. You can get tickets from them.
The event is October 12th. It's a Saturday night, and doors open at 5:30.
And it's open bar, and it's a meal too, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a meal catered that night. Yep, an open bar. And this year we are doing something different. We are adding mocktails for people that might not want alcohol. So there is that option also this year.
Great. Tickets are $85. Come and see us, right, ladies?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. You will not regret it.
Yep.
Miranda and Robin, thank you very much to both of you for coming in and spending some time with us today on Cadillac Unscripted.
Thank you.
Join us next week when I believe Robin will make another appearance on a completely different topic here on Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank on 107.9 CDY.